Here we are, welcoming a new moon or full moon, sorry. No moon. Yeah. And it's been a week of purging for me. And we have
Mm.
Ashala in the house. We're so excited to have you back. Yeah. We really look forward to our meetings and our connection.
Oh, likewise. We've just been having a little pre-meeting catch up and laughathon. So I hope that carries on over into
Oh
the
yeah.
session
Well,
because it's
oh yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really divine and
Yeah.
empowering to laugh in these times.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's much needed. And we had a little conversation as well.
Mm.
And this is Norma Stein. She's got a new name. I'm gonna have to change it on the banner.
Oh, okay.
Because every time Norma speaks, there's Tango's in the chat, and he's like, Norma's nobody say Norma Einstein. I'm like, no, 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 just Norma Stein.
Norma Stein.
Because she has this ability to take in data and then
Mm.
like regurgitate or spit it back out in such a way,
Mm.
in a really powerful, impactful way that
Mhm.
everyone's like, whoa, that was deep.
Yeah. I love it. It's what a great name.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
And Ashala, how are you doing on this full moon?
I'm doing pretty well. I was just before we started, I was just mentioning, what I'm aware of and become increasingly aware of over the last few days. I really see the full moon energy starting, as much as 6 or 7 days prior as
Yes.
we build up. And then there's a little bit of a carryover for at least 3 or 4 days after. And what I've been noticing, I already was aware, but it's really becoming obvious, is that this Virgo full moon, it's our chance in a year to really get some big energy, concentrated energy around bringing order into the chaos of our lives. So it's not the most favorite, except for people who have Virgo well aspected in their astrological chart. A lot of us tend to avoid the things that are like all those little details that are about putting order into life. So if you think about, the classic sort of Virgo image where they have their desk and everything is neatly organized and labeled and all that kind of stuff. It's like this is your kind of week or 10-day period of the year to get really geeky with that kind of organization in your life. And if we can embrace it, it's like this is the only time that we really get to shine a bright light on that and go to town with that. So let's enjoy that. The other piece that Virgo is really strong in is health. So
Yes.
what is going to be lit up for us personally in the Virgo full moon is any area that's disorganized, your junk drawer, the junk drawer of your drama in your life, any area that's chaotic that needs organization, and your health. So,
Absolutely.
and people go, why is this happening to me right now? Why is it this perfect storm? And why is this stuff coming? Okay, well, it's the system, the astrological system and the cycles, and they're shining a light and letting us have a good look so that we can do some stuff right now. It's going to pass by and then there'll be some other focus in the next week or two. So it's not about, bad you shouldn't have a junk drawer. We all have a junk drawer.
Yeah.
Except maybe those triple Virgos or something. Uh, so it's not about, berating ourselves or there's something wrong with us if we have a health flare up. I've had a lot of people talking to me in the last 2 weeks where they have a mysterious health flare up that is bringing something up from the past that wants to be attended to, healed, brought some order and some maybe healing practices or routines to help that. So things will be, when we shine a spotlight, we're going to see things that we may have been ignoring, but that's okay. Is what
Right. And I want to remind everyone too, as you're saying that, I'm already seeing that spiral. So we don't, it's not a linear timeline, it's a
yeah.
spiral going along. And that which needs to be looked at from a new way will always come around. And I get a lot of people saying, I already did that. I already
Mhm.
healed that. And it's like, well, it's not one and done, love. It's a matter of embracing it again. And now from this new perspective that you have, what do you see now in that situation
Mhm.
that can
Mhm.
further elevate your soul, so to speak?
Well, and I was talking to my friend this week that's a therapist. I also have a therapist, so I was doing my therapy session about a week ago, and one of the, conversations was around how much energy it takes to critique ourselves about when we're having something happening. Like you said, when something cycles back around and you're like, why is it happening? And if we spend all the time going, why didn't I get it right the first time? What's wrong with me? Why is this happening again? Am I being punished? Is something really askew in my life? The more time we focus on that, it actually takes the energy away from the opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's not a punishment. It's an invitation to say, it doesn't arise again because you did something wrong. It arises again because you're ready to do something right again.
Yeah.
So,
And it's always
Beautiful.
a gift. Add to that.
Oh yes, that is beautifully described there, Charlotte. Beautifully, because it's one of those that like you said, it's not a one and done.
mhm,
This gives us a chance and opportunity to go through something to see if our response, our reaction will be from that higher perspective,
mhm,
from what we've seen and what we went through to bring it to the forefront of our mind to see it from that different perspective. And it's going to come back around because
mhm.
the one thing life is always going to do is test you.
That's it. That's
And that's
it.
the beauty. Yes, it's the beauty to be tested and know that, oh, this is my chance and opportunity to see how much I ultimately understood what I learned from this last episode or
Mm,
this last experience I had. Now I get the chance to make this anew
to
and
yeah, upgrade it. Yeah.
and to just flourish more from that because that just brings an even greater experience the next go
Mhm,
around where
mhm.
it may even be not even be about you. It may be something you just observe just to see what takes place. And you
Yeah.
get to sit back and reflect on that and go, I remember when I did that. And I'm so
Mhm,
grateful that I have transcended that and that I am
mhm,
this new and more profound individual from that experience. And you just
mhm.
keep growing from that.
What I'm hearing when you say that, Norma, is almost like an expanding experience of perfection. Like what was perfect last time we had to go through, what is we got to a place where it's like, wow, this feels amazing. I've done this healing work. I feel restored. I feel like I have a whole new take on life. And we get to upgrade on perfection. It's almost like there isn't, yeah, I'm hearing the guides say, like, we get an opportunity to continue to evolve. And it's not that we made a mistake before, it's just that we weren't ready for the next step. It's like, so we get this opportunity, and the the part that can be a lot of suffering and really actually detract and pull you backwards in a way, if there is a backwards, maybe just pull you, sort of out of the frequency temporarily,
Right.
um, is the suffering of what's wrong with me? Why is this happening? Why am 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 I doing something wrong? And that energy, like my therapist was pointing out to me, like the energy that is required to, like, it just takes our focus and we just end up spinning around with self-critique. Whereas if we can just go, okay, you know, I understand that this is creating a sense of like, oh, I've got to work again. But if I can look at it from the perspective of it's going to give me gifts, I'm going to, feel even better and brighter, the next version of myself, and not go into self-criticism.
Right.
It'll be a much more pleasant experience for one thing.
Right. And you're correct in that because, we're at a place and space within, in this space and time where so much of this energy is lifted that we don't have to go to that suffering level anymore. This is
Mhm.
where we get the chance and opportunity to actually utilize this time and space to just step back and observe and do away with the judgment of self and say, what is it that I can see from this that
Mm.
is reflecting something within me that I can transcend before I respond or react? by stepping back, taking that breath, and
Mm.
observing what's just taking place. So that's where expansion comes in. That's where we get the chance and opportunity to tap into that deeper you know, aspect of ourselves that we have yet to experience, but yet we're being given that chance and opportunity to express and explore.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I truly believe this, the biggest thing that people do is judge themselves, judge others.
Mm-hmm.
And if we just took judgment and the word judgment and let it go,
Mm-hmm.
and instead had compassion,
Mm-hmm.
even though it may feel uncomfortable to begin with because we're so used to being judgmental, that we spun that around and we put it into compassion so that we realize that everyone's having their own experience and we're not one to judge because we don't know what they've went through. We don't know what they've struggled with. Can you hear that? It's a little bit loud there.
A little bit. It's okay. I just am holding these two cards as I listen. I'm often sort of shuffling the cards around, and then someone will say something and I'll just open, and this is what I open to. And so I was talking a little bit about the health associated with this full moon in Virgo, which is basically right now. Is that right? Yeah, it's like it's tonight. It's this, we're on it, or like last night to tonight. It's happening.
Yeah.
So beautiful. The Empress, the Divine Mother, which is also Earth, and the ecosystem, which is not outside of us. It's not like we're part of the ecosystem. We are the ecosystem. We are a living, breathing, immersed within the ecosystem. So everything we do ripples out through the ecosystem, and we get back like a mirror image of what we're putting out in. That's basically the response of the ecosystem. So it's like a feedback loop, basically. So there's that Empress, that beautiful, the nature that is not out there somewhere. It's all around us and within us. We are nature.
Yeah.
Everything is nature. And also everything is nurture. It's the Divine Mother energy as well. So there's that. And then this beautiful Page of Pentacles, which to me is the health card. It's a card about coming back into a beautiful frequency of health, which has to do with, interesting enough, very much connected to the Virgo energy of habits, lifestyle, practices, ways of caring for our health, healthy lifestyle and practices. So I had an interesting meditation this morning in the full moon and Virgo energy, and I actually was hearing from my body, because I've been saying for, I don't know, a few years now, I've been saying, well, my mind and my psyche and my soul are way ahead, and my body is trying to catch up. Like it's trying to process all the stuff that I'm like becoming aware of, and all the ascension processes and so on. And I heard this morning in my meditation, actually, it may be both ways. And sometimes it may be that my mind is trying to catch up with my body's wisdom and intelligence.
So true, right? Because your body has consciousness so much more than we give it credit for.
Yeah. And we kind of go, oh, these 3D bodies, like, yeah, they're doing their best and they're trying to keep up with us amazing souls. And, it's like, I don't know about that. This, there's there, and I kind of was going, okay, is it an either or? And I heard, no, it's both.
It's both.
Like sometimes the soul is doing all this work, and then the body is going, okay, slow down there. Take some breaths and let's go slow, because I need to integrate this. And sometimes, and that's what I feel I've been hearing from people in these last 2 or 3 weeks, is that the physical environment is literally creating these reflections, as in strange things happening, and physical body symptoms happening. that, could be oh no, it's going backwards and I'm having these symptoms that I've had before or whatever, or things just completely out of the blue. So the body wisdom is showing up and saying it's got something for us. And what I keep hearing is that it is bringing forward the things that we're actually ready to. It's almost like you could go in and say, I think I would like to clear this now because it's on my mind, but maybe the body is ready to clear something different. So there's this energy of, I just got a flash over there on the right when I said that. There's an energy of, it's a two-way thing. We're call and response. Like, okay, I thought I was doing this, and all of a sudden my body's over here saying, we're doing this, by the way.
Right?
Judgment.
Yeah.
Actual factor.
Yeah. People are judging even their bodies. Yeah. And judging why they're feeling the way they're feeling versus accepting and allowing. And then I get a reply from some people that I've been working with saying, oh, but it's so much easier than last time. And I'm like, can we just focus on that for a minute?
Yeah. Yeah.
That tells me you're doing better and you're empowering. So quit beating yourself up. It didn't take a day, a week, a month, even a year for you to get to the point where you are, where you feel like you're struggling. It's taken much longer. And so go easy on yourself. Love yourself more right where you are. A lot of self-judgment happening and a lot of external judgment still happening, which it's like, if I don't know something for a fact to be true for me, I can't speak to it. I don't know that to be fact, but I can share experiences and now go body dust yourself and tell me, how do you feel now? And what does your body tell you? Your body will never lie to you.
Well, and I love where you're going too with this, look at how much faster things are getting cleared, or you're, like responding differently, noticing how that's happening, how there is more compassion developing. And also, even with body challenge and health challenge, it's like we don't need to assume, even if it did take a long time to get there, that it's going to look the way it did in the past. Like, our bodies are also extraordinary, wise repositories of all the information, and they will move at the speed that's actually really appropriate for us. So we don't need to tell our minds like, uh-oh, it's going to be like last time. Like, we don't know that.
Right. So this is where we can touch upon the base of understanding judgment to begin with. When you separate the word judge and then meant is a mental action. Okay. So when the body's telling you, hey, I'm feeling this way, or this is what's taking place, or what's going on, do away with the judgment, because the mental in the with the monkey mind and still us, having to deal with some of that because it's still present, is to understand that when you do away with the judgment, you do away with the mental part of it. By when we do that with that mental, then what we're doing is we're not suppressing the body, allowing us to know what's taking place and what's transpiring. It's telling us this is what's taking place. And when we have that thought, and especially if it's, oh, what have I done wrong? Or, what did I not learn the last time? You place a judgment. And then when that happens is you stop that process for the body, which in turn, it then becomes stuck again, just in a different place.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And it's going to take so much longer.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Ashala, I think it's really good that you're sharing that you're speaking with someone. Will you talk a little bit about that? You're talking with a therapist.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that in itself is often judged. And as we're talking about judgment, I'm like, oh, she can shed some light on this right now.
Yeah. And it's fascinating, right? I feel like, gosh, I can look back through my life and think there's some times that I would have probably been. I mean, I did go to counseling on and off over the years a few times, but I think, I probably need a therapist the least that I've ever needed one in my life technically right now.
Yes.
Like, there's not really any big major drama challenge stuff, but I'm really, really ready to do some deep healing of old stuff, of shadow stuff. And so I'm taking this choice as an opportunity
Yeah.
to invoke a better version of myself. It's not about, I've got these big issues and I've got big problems. I mean, we all have issues and problems. We've inherited them. We have cultural trauma and shadows. Like, there's no one here alive on this planet right now that could not benefit from therapeutic support, because the beauty of it is, and I get doing it. And before I go into my sessions, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really need this. I know what she's going to say, and la, 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 la. And I get to it and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay, you surprised me. And I didn't realize, and being witnessed, right? We deserve to be held in our vulnerability is the bottom line.
Beautiful.
Deserve to be cared for in the places that are very tender, and deserve gentle care and attention and being held. And I challenge anyone out there to say there isn't a part of them that needs gentle care and attention, and to be held in their vulnerability in order to explore what's there and what could be ready to be healed. So that's why I go.
No, absolutely. And thank you for sharing, because it's really important, because you're often supporting others in that same way. You're
Yes.
you're giving and giving and giving. So it's important to remember, even the healers need some healing. And so don't judge yourself over that either.
Right.
Self-care. Number one
Self-care.
priority.
Yeah, and I really think that's what the Grease trip will be. And we're just finalizing the details. It's really want to call in those that are giving so much. Where are you giving to yourself? Yeah, where are you loving yourself? Where are you getting the support you need to talk some things through and get, because what happens is, I find most, I'm not saying you, there's never judgment on anyone, but that I get so focused on what I am doing that it's often, I'm like, okay, even I need to pull back and go, okay, what else is going on? Where else, what are the other factors that might be affecting those that I'm working with, so I can have a better understanding, understanding. And that's what I believe we all need more of, is a more global picture.
Yeah.
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 Do you want to pull? Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, and every bit of that work that we do inwardly is rippling out. I mean, we know this, and yet I wonder if we really are aware of how powerful that is.
We're not. Most aren't.
Yeah.
Right? Most aren't, unless you see it reflected back to you and you go, oh.
So again, I'm hearing that there's some anxiety. Interesting, you talked about anxiety, and there's some almost artificiality that believes that dark force energy is stronger than gentle, subtle, positive energy. I'm just, the guides are saying, let's be curious about that for a minute.
Yes,
Like,
please.
where do we hold that belief? Where have we been led down the garden path to believe that dark force, power dominant energy is more impactful?
Right?
And that gentleness. I think about the strength card in the tarot, the strength maiden. I'm just going to see if I can find her here. Where it's actually the force of gentleness that tames. Of course, it's not in the first round that I'm looking at here. The force of gentleness that tames the most challenging, dominating, aggressive energy. Isn't that something also to think about? So when we're thinking about, see the
Yeah.
strength maiden,
Yeah.
how she applies this gentleness, and this ferocious beast is so calmed that it like lays down and curls up at her feet. So we get anxiously triggered into, oh no, the bad guys are coming and they've got all the guns and they got all the, oh, they're scary and they got a lot of energy. It's like we get all worked up, like, you know, and well, that is just giving them all that power. It's like, here, have all my power. But what
Right?
I'm being shown in the cards here is if we could see the potency of that gentle, that force of gentle, and how it is so much more. It's almost like the guides are saying part of the challenge is that we have a hard time sustaining it long enough to see the result. So if you think about working with a, like, let's say a traumatized animal, you know, like the horse whisperer kind of analogy, there's those two.
Ooh.
So if we think about in the beginning, it takes a while to gain the trust of this traumatized creature, and it's still acting out.
Yeah.
But over time, with this applied gentleness, exponentially, it starts to go the other way. And then you literally can take this animal anywhere and it trusts you implicitly. So that's where we're headed with this dark force, power dominant, manipulative energy. Is it will take some wrangling in the beginning, but it's not physical fighting and fighting back and being that same force. It's actually continuing to apply that compassionate force of gentle. They're calling it the force of gentle
Yes. And love.
and love.
Because
And
the opposite doesn't know what to do with it.
well,
And-
the opposite will eventually be calmed
Right.
and
But
tamed by
yeah,
that.
when you first come at them with love, they're quite often like, I don't know what to do with that. So they either back away or go to the side. Yeah. It's quite,
Or get more ferocious, you
or
know,
get more ferocious.
which is, I feel, what we're seeing happening in
Yeah.
in the outer, you know, drama that's unfolding, is that you the other thing is the gentleness brings the shadow up to the surface. But we can say, oh, well, we don't want that. No, let's be tough. We don't want the gentle shadow stuff to come up. It's like, well, it's there anyway. So I think we'd rather have it. Let's get it up. And let's, you know, not be
Yes.
afraid to let it come and
Yeah.
then continue applying the gentleness and be patient and observe slowly, because you know I keep hearing that people are impatient. They're like, well, that we don't have time for that, come on, we got to get on this, like, let's do something more effective. But in the long run, it's the ultimate. Not only is it effective, it's permanent. It's eternal.
Right. Right.
It's not just a band-aid fix.
No. No, absolutely not. Let's yes, all
Pull
of that.
cards.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, but really wanted to tap into the snow moon and this moon that it is. Yes, it's a Virgo moon, but it's also more than that. It's like this bridging between winter and coming next. The next full moon will be in the equinox.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our time to reflect and, like you said, clean out those drawers. Now's the time, because you're gonna have no time when it comes to planting new seeds in the spring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, interesting what I'm being shown here. So I'm going to pull the cards up one by one. I'll just flip the screen for a sec.
Yeah.
You can have a look and see that's what I've just laid out. Okay, so interesting is um, we've got, I want to say, probably about another 2 to 3 weeks of
Yeah.
temperance is about, um, again, I want to say applying that force of gentle, but also not backing away.
Yeah.
So there's something about, as we continue over the next 2 weeks. So you're talking about the snow moon, which is a little bit of the, like, an in-between moon,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
we've got that, and again, more grief, more collective grief coming to the surface. And so we've got 2 5s here, 5 of Pentacles and 5 of Cups. The grief is also connected to, I want to say there's something about the emptiness of the promise of, like, almost like we're all collectively kind of going, you know what? Even money can't buy what I really need. So there's something about a collective, it's not, this isn't poverty consciousness. This is the recognition that what we really need is not based on the the kind of system that we've been operating in. So there's something about getting to a deeper place with that, and
Yeah.
it's almost as though things that used to give you pleasure that you would buy for yourself might just feel like sort of empty. There might be a feeling of a bit of emptiness. And again, we're looking at emptying out. Emptying out is a big theme. Holding space, the force of gentle. Interesting as well. This is our advice, is to, again, pause, not to make any major decisions one way or the other. I want to say for a couple of weeks.
They say hold pattern. Today I said it. I'm like, feel like we're in a hold pattern. It's a hold pattern. And that's okay. I can accept that. But you're right. It's so hard to go from these older energies where it was like, go get it done. And now it's like, no, sit back and wait, observe it from another perspective. What about from here? What about from here? That's the whole pattern, because we need to take much more into account in a gentle, kind, and loving way than that old way of being masculine, like just power through and get it done.
Oh, yeah, because we're missing a lot. It's the shortcut syndrome, I call it. And I'm probably the most guilty for it. Ask my kids. I'm like, I've been always like, come on, let's get, can't you see this is so effective? Let's just do it that way. And I'm getting much better and have become aware that that is actually one of my weaker areas.
Yes.
And I'm learning about, if I do apply the force of gentle, I just love that. What a beautiful wording that is, that came through, especially today. If I apply that and allow things to emerge more gently and naturally, organically, it's like there's so much, it's so much of a richer experience. So look at this. This is what's on the side. We just had that 5 of Pentacles. You see that?
Look at all
That
the
is that things,
right?
the lackluster. The lackluster. So if you feel in the next couple of weeks, 5 days, especially around the day 5, things are just lackluster, please hold tight. Apply that gentle, compassionate force, that temperance energy, this healing energy, that gentle strength maiden, because what's emerging is an up-leveling of a new consciousness around abundance, which is all about reciprocity. It's all about contributionism. It's all about sharing, gifting.
Yeah. I get a full zing on that. Yeah. I'm being told to ask about your opinion on all that red that's going on in there.
The red?
There's so much red in all the cards you just shared.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, right, there's the wings of the, look at it all. Okay. So root chakra, and what I'm hearing around that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hearing that the root chakra has been drained through violence.
Mm.
Yep. Our root chakra has been kind of damaged through violent trauma. And so, in a way, we are tapping in. It's like, when I tune into that energy of the root chakra, we think of it as being like power and rootedness and like domination and force, or like, again, that, and they're saying it's actually it's so delicate and so exquisite, the root chakra energy. It's like kind of like the crown.
Right? Yeah.
So we have this idea that that chakra down there is evil, it's violent, it's power dominant, it's unconscious, it's gross, material, lower frequency, and we're reclaiming the dignity of the root chakra because it actually is a incredibly refined energy. It is the energy that literally draws life into form on this planet. And is that dark and evil and low frequency? No. So this is part of the healing of our root chakra, is what I'm
Beautiful.
hearing. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank
Yeah.
you for asking that, Tanya, because
Yeah, I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was like,
your
"Ooh."
guides brought that in. And
Yeah.
they're saying, oh, we love the word zing too. Like it's got a zing to it. And there's something very, yeah, like even the color, like the way we associate red with blood and we associate blood with violence.
All
Yeah.
about perspective.
But blood is also birth.
Mm-hmm.
You
Purification.
would not have, or purification. Yeah, cleansing. Blood is about healing. It's the first thing you see to let you know you're injured so you can heal. So
Mhm.
let's take these things, these judgments again that we
Mhm.
have on specific topics and stop and go zoom out and look at it a little differently.
Mhm.
Is that part of your programming? Really? Can you change that belief? Can we have more compassion for all?
Mhm. Very interesting. So there's something about healing the root chakra and coming into a new relationship, even with the color red, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
So embrace the red, everybody.
Yeah.
It's the meeting point. It's a
Ah.
It's also your blood type, your cells, you are cells. There is so much more to this. I'm like getting zapped
I'm
really
getting,
hard.
no, I'm like, we can
Okay,
talk about
go,
this for
go,
hours.
Go,
go.
go, Norma, go.
Well, I mean, when you look at the pyramids and you look at how, like, if you have one point touching another, this just all goes back to a womb.
Mm. Mhm.
Okay. This goes back to a womb where when a child is birthed, what is upon the child and what comes out forth with birthing?
Mhm.
Blood. But you got
Mhm.
to understand, like you were explaining, and like we've been talking about here, it's all about perspective.
Mhm.
It ultimately is in understanding, okay, this perspective that you have that comes forth that has a thought, is it a judgment? And if it's a judgment, where's it coming from? Is it coming from something that I was taught? Was it something that I
Mm.
learned? Was it something that is of the monkey mind, or
Mhm.
the R complex, which is at the back of the right of your mind? It's where the monkey mind sets. But in order to be able to see it on a deeper level, man, let me tell you, it's beautiful. It's profound.
It's profound.
And what the root represents is that lower area that is of the micro expression of us. But it's
Mhm.
also where the womb sits. It's also where the birthing takes place.
Mhm.
So, you know, when we look at our chakras, and when we look at, where they set, you must
Mhm.
understand they're set there for a purpose and a reason, but understand it's the masculine, it's the feminine, it's the dark, it's the light. It's a balance. It's a balance in it all. And where that balance comes in is understanding the womb, which brings the two opposing, whether it's metaphysical or physical, together.
Mm.
It's about broadening your understanding of self.
Mhm.
You lack the judgment of self when you begin to see the beauty of it all.
Mm. Mhm. Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm just zinging as well. I'm like, "Okay, I'm wearing a red dress next time." Um, and I'm just zinging with the whole, like, I'm getting this feeling like we birth from the root and we exit from the crown, but our exiting from the crown is us birthing from the root in another dimension.
Yes.
So it's like
Boom,
there's this
boom, boom.
whole, yeah, and there's not like, oh, that's an impure direction down there, and this is a pure
Oh,
direction up here. It's omnidirectional. So yeah, I'm being shown this new interpretation of the root is another crown. I mean, when a baby is
yes.
born, they call it
It
crowning.
is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like,
Thank you. And it's beautiful. It's profound when you really understand that that's the process. It's like when we come from that ethereal to the place of the plasmic, which transforms us through the root chakra, which is where this takes place for us to become in manifest, and we turn ourselves right side out to be tangible.
whoa,
Right?
right
Normal
side out. Oh, so powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Right?
And so what, like, basically we want to birth a new earth. We want to
Yes.
birth a new version of ourselves, and yet we're afraid of the place of birth. We're afraid of the root chakra.
Yes.
So how is anything going to get birthed
Right?
if we associate the root with violence?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
Ooh,
kind of a little bit of reclaim the root time.
right? And
Get to the root of it all.
Yeah.
you almost got a punch over that one.
I could tell the look. She was like,
But even so, I don't think Jade can hear me.
Uh-oh, where are we going?
she has a lot of like shame and guilt around her period. It's not, she doesn't like it. And I'm like, honey, it's a beautiful blessing. You need to embrace it. I said, I'm looking back now on my life and I'm like, I wish we all went in a tent for 3 or 4 a week with other women and sat around and nurtured ourselves during that time and gave back to Mother Earth and just allowed it. Sorry, guys. You're getting them full out now. Yeah. Because that would really shift things.
alchemizing.
It's alchemizing. Yeah, exactly.
Alchemizing.
Alchemization.
Look at the next card that popped up.
Yes. Another red
So
card too.
the heart,
Let's show it. Let's show
the
it.
heart pumps the blood.
Yeah.
The red blood is pumped through the heart chakra. So, you know, yeah, it's these 3 chakras, the root, the heart, and the crown, are so a holy trinity, really. And they're all damaged.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing a little bit of, we've been doing a lot of work on the crown, us spiritual activators. We've been doing so much work on the crown, right?
Lots of people
And
are
we're
saying
all
it now.
talking about the heart, but we've got to heal the root next, because once we heal the crown and the root, the heart will just go poing.
Yes.
So cute.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's just a 3: mind, body, spirit.
Yeah. And people think the spirit is up here somewhere. It's here in the womb. And we all have it. Right? Yeah.
Womb, womb, womb.
They're all wombs. Yeah.
They're all
They're all
wombs.
wombs. This is a womb. This is a womb. That's a womb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's the next thing. This is so cool. I want to share this on every platform.
It's womanation time.
The womanators.
Oh, goddess. Here we go. Here we go.
Wombers.
Woomer has it.
Love it.
Oh, so good.
Yes.
Oh.
It's fun.
Mhm.
Oh, so funny. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and don't forget to like it, guys. Share it out if it resonates. This is actually really important. We don't pre-plan these whatsoever. It is
Nothing.
always done organically and what needs to come through. And my crown's been on fire it's been on fire for a week.
Yeah.
Like really strongly as we go through this. And I've been watching what's going on and I keep pulling myself back going, just not even going to respond. I'm not reacting. I'm not even going to respond right now because it's hold back time. Sit with it. Room it's let it sit in the womb and see what needs to be birthed from this so that your take on this becomes much more loving, much more gracious, love and grace. Transitional period. Yeah. So yeah. And we forget that part because we all want things like this. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And it's like, no, 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 no.
Don't pop a baby in 9 hours. I'm just saying.
Well, and that I feel like they often say that is what one of the big differentiations between men and women is that women are built for endurance, and the whole process of birth and pregnancy and all those processes that we go through, that we, kind of get to grow through in a way and be initiated by, are about developing the calm gentleness to sit with the discomfort. There's no rushing it. There's no like, we're going to get this over with. Let's hurry up and get this done. With birth,
Have we not learned anything yet?
yeah, it's such a great mystery and such a powerful process that has its own timing. So
Right.
exactly where we are on the planet right now.
Right. And when we take what we are experiencing, and I'm not saying that it's not difficult. I'm not saying it's not got its its struggles. Okay. That's even during the process of sometimes the gestational period of a child. But even through that time, that child is still being loved. Whether it's the mother that's carrying it or the father that knows he was a part of that creation of that child.
Yeah.
So we must always take whatever it is we're going through, do what we can to be given the tools and the guidance and assistance to whoever it is we reach out to that we trust is going to help us understand how to utilize that. But understand every time you sit with something, it still must have a gestational period. And how you are responding and reacting during that gestational period is up to you on if it's something that you allow and love and allow to birth in the time that it's meant to, or that unfortunately you rush the process and you abort.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you start all over again.
Yeah.
And when we look at life at that level, how can you not see it in its own purity of understanding? That's how precious of a being every single one of us that takes a breath is.
Truly, truly. I love that analogy, and how these, they seem like little metaphysical adjustments. And again, the guides are saying we have this artificial concept that just the big and the bold and the bad and the yeah, I'm actually being drawn to the whole phenomena of martial arts training, and so many of those incredible masters that could literally like change weather and move elements and defy gravity and do all these extraordinary phenomena. And it's all based on that experience of being present with the natural forces and not pushing them, but working with them and understanding them and coming into a relationship with them. And that's a lot about how to grow with energy as it's unfolding around you, as opposed to, be part of the birthing process, as opposed to, trying to force things to happen at a speed that is based on your discomfort with the organic process.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
getting really comfortable in the unknown and in being uncomfortable because it has something to show you.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't thinking that this morning when the coffee machine, so we're in a different place for a few days. And this morning I put the coffee on and then I come and I sit down and I'm hanging out with myself and we hear this drip drip. And I'm like, what is that? Go back in the kitchen. The coffee pot, the glass craft has a hole in the side of it and it is peeing coffee out onto the counter down onto the floor. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting way to start the day.
After I'd done overfilled it the night before.
Oh, does that mean we're not supposed to have
And I got up and I'm like,
Curious questioning.
oh, it's too funny. Ashala, why don't we take these last few minutes and thank you for the laughs. You know, guys, we like I said, we never planned this, but we always have laughs because we're just kindred souls. We're
Yes.
meant to be doing this together. We're enjoying this. It is fun. It is playful, and it activates all of us all at once.
Mhm.
Yeah. Would you like to do a little poll on what people have to look forward to over the like in March? Can we give a little foreground on what the collective energy is going to be for March so people can
Mhm. Yeah.
tap it on?
So I'm holding two cards, Nine of Wands and the World. So Nine of Wands is, I want to say it's a bit of an adventure.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an adventure because nine is synthesis. I like to call the Nine of Wands the resume card, but that's a little boring. I guess what I want to say is it's about gathering what you want to take on the adventure or into the rebirth. Sort of like, I mean, we think about springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere. So there is that energy of what do you want to bring? A lot of cultures basically say that springtime is the new year. So we could say in a way that this is another, we had the, Gregorian New Year, then we had the Chinese New Year, and the spring equinox is another new year. What
Yeah.
do we want to bring from the old year and bring it, rebirth it, birth it? So we've got a birth card here, the world. And what are we gathering? But I just really, with this Nine of Wands at this very moment, I feel like there's an adventure coming. There's a real adventure. Isn't that interesting?
Right?
Adventures for connection. Yeah, it does feel like there's potentially in the 9 months to follow. So that would be between spring equinox and the winter solstice. There's quite a lot of adventure and expansion. I actually saw this in my soul sampler this week too. I was like, we're getting a lot of productivity and stuff done between now and the spring equinox. But after that, I really feel like we're going through a birth and we're about to go kind of, I heard the guide say, a little rogue, a little into like,
We like rogue.
yeah, a little like
Oh,
renegade adventure style stuff happening.
beautiful.
yeah, it sounds a little Terminator-ish to hear, I'll be back.
But it's very playful. I get
Yeah.
a real sense of curiosity and yeah, thank you. That and there's a real feeling of that we are gathering our, like I'm hearing, gathering our belongings. Like this isn't scary. This isn't scary stuff. It's not like, oh no, we have to evacuate. It's we get to have a bit of an adventure. And I've been saying for almost a year now that I really feel March 20th, 2024, we pick up a
Yeah.
thread where we left off with March 20th, 2020.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah,
That's
no, we
right.
get that. We get that. A loop closed and
A
we're
loop closed.
yeah,
With a
absolutely.
big, huge heart around it. Like,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Not like if we can really close it up with love, wow.
And that's
So synchronous.
Right?
This has just been so synchronistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Support her addendum Norminator.
I love these guys.
Yeah, right.
They're very playful. We love you guys so much. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they sat there and listened to all the womb and
They have one too.
They
so
have
might
one
as well
too.
hear it.
yeah. Yeah. And well, and then one comment comes out, oh, so I hear now that men can have babies. I'm like, are you gonna try
Now you're just
that?
going too far.
So, yeah, always ready for an adventure. Yes.
Be careful what you wish for.
Ding, 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 ding.
I'm so excited for an adventure too. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we'll connect. We're back in North Vancouver late Tuesday night. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I'm manifesting some sunshine because apparently my roof has been ripped off and it's been really loud and noisy. I'm like, can you get that done before I get home, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sending you lots of love. Ashala, thank you so much for your
Likewise.
time and the synchronicities. And it's just truly with love and with heart, we've created our own little womb space here to
Sure
grow
have.
in a new way. Yeah.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you both. And thank you all.
Any parting words for everyone?
Stay curious is what I heard. Stay curious. Curiosity. Stay curious.
And I'll add to that, stay grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Fly high.
Grounded and fly high and stay curious. There's the root, the crown, and the heart.
Absolutely. We love you guys.
Mwah.
Yeah. And we'll see you all tomorrow night.